Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea Sport Focus. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started.
Xavi Simons has played his last game for RB Leipzig as Chelsea transfer draws near. In what looks set to be one of the defining moves of the summer window, Dutch sensation Xavi Simons is edging closer to a dramatic Premier League switch, with Chelsea Football Club firmly in the driving seat to secure his signature. The 22-year-old midfield maestro, widely regarded as one of the brightest young talents in European football, is now reported to have played his final game for RB Leipzig, signaling the beginning of the end of his Bundesliga chapter. The clearest indication yet of his imminent exit came over the weekend, when Leipzig hosted Italian giants Atalanta in a pre-season friendly. Simons was noticeably absent from the matchday squad, with the club attributing his omission to neck pain. However, sources close to the club and the player suggest there is more to the story than a simple physical complaint. In reality, both parties are preparing for his departure, with Chelsea pushing hard to finalise terms and bring the Dutch international to Stamford Bridge. A long-standing admiration. Chelsea's interest in Simons is not new. The Blues have been tracking the dynamic midfielder for well over a year, with previous inquiries dating back to his spell at PSV Eindhoven. Since then, the player's rise has been meteoric. A loan move to RB Leipzig from Paris Saint-Germain for the 2023-24 season saw Simons blossom into one of the Bundesliga's standout performers, dazzling fans with his creativity, flair, and relentless work rate. His ability to play across the attacking midfield line made him a tactical asset for Leipzig and now has Chelsea envisioning him as a core part of Enzo Maresca's new system. Simons' social media statement. Fueling speculation even further, Simons has made several subtle but powerful gestures on social media. He has removed all mentions of RB Leipzig from his Instagram bio, replacing it only with references to his UNICEF ambassadorship and a Puma sponsorship. These actions have not gone unnoticed by fans and pundits, many of whom believe the player is sending a direct signal about his future intentions. Behind the scenes, his representatives are believed to be in advanced talks with Chelsea, discussing personal terms as Leipzig and the London club work on the final details of the transfer. The numbers behind the deal. Though no formal bid has yet been lodged, the consensus is that Leipzig are looking for £60 million to part ways with Simons. For Chelsea, this price tag is well within reach, especially with outgoings such as João Felix, who is on the verge of completing a lucrative move to Saudi Arabia, freeing up the necessary funds. Felix's sale is expected to inject over £43.7 million into Chelsea's budget, paving the way for a smooth and swift conclusion to the Simons pursuit. What makes this transfer even more intriguing is that Chelsea do not see Simons as a replacement for one departing player. Rather, they view him as a foundational figure in the club's next-generation rebuild. Enzo Maresca is said to be a huge admirer of the Dutch international, and sees him as the perfect link between midfield and attack in his progressive, possession-based system. Chelsea's summer overhaul continues. The move for Simons comes amid a massive squad reshaping operation at Stamford Bridge. As part of their strategic shift under Marresca, Chelsea are open to offers for Christopher Nkunku, Armando Broja, and Nicholas Jackson, with all three strikers told they are free to find new clubs. It's a bold decision, especially for players like Nkunku, who arrived with high expectations last summer but failed to make the desired impact due to injuries. Further exits are also anticipated. Promising youngsters Alfie Gilchrist, David Datro Fofana, Mamadou Sarr, Kenan Dewsbury Hall, and newly signed Argentine defender Aaron Anselmino are all reportedly available either for loan or permanent moves, depending on interest. The clear message from the Chelsea hierarchy is this: only the very best will stay, and Maresca has been granted full license to shape the squad in his image. A new era under Maresca. For Xavi Simons, Chelsea represents an ideal next step. The club is undergoing a significant transformation, and the opportunity to become a leading figure in a youthful, ambitious side is a major draw. Unlike the situation at PSG or even Leipzig, Chelsea promises a starring role, one in which Simons will be trusted with creative responsibility in the final third and supported by a technical coaching staff dedicated to maximizing his unique talents. With the Premier League's global platform and Chelsea's historical competitiveness, the move could elevate Simons into true superstardom. His versatility, vision, and goal-scoring instincts make him an ideal fit for the fast-paced, high-stakes environment of English football. Final steps pending. While the final hurdle remains, an official bid and Leipzig's acceptance, momentum is building quickly. Florian Plettenberg reports that the deal is now simply a matter of time, with nothing in the way of Simons making the switch. Chelsea fans have been watching the saga unfold with a mixture of hope and excitement. And now, with the player reportedly playing his last game for RB Leipzig, the moment they've been waiting for may finally be arriving. The Blue Revolution continues, and Xavi Simons looks set to be at the heart of it. The €27.5 million gamble Chelsea are now ready to cash in on, the untold story of Leslie Ugochukwu's inevitable exit. When Leslie Ugochukwu arrived at Chelsea from Rennes for a reported €27.5 million in the summer of 2023, eyebrows were raised, not because of a lack of talent, but because of the increasingly puzzling web of recruitment strategies being woven at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea had once again flexed their financial muscle, bringing in a young, athletic, ball-playing midfielder with raw potential and high upside. Ugochukwu, then 19, was seen as a player who could develop into a key squad member over time. But in the whirlwind of Todd Boehly's recruitment drive, Leslie's narrative has gone from promising project to expendable asset in just over a year. Now, Chelsea are working behind the scenes to recoup their investment as they look to move the Frenchman on permanently. A quiet summer? On the surface. While Chelsea's transfer window has been anything but quiet, deals for Mark Guiu, Omari Kellerman, Kenan Dewsbury-Hall, and talks with top targets like Xavi Simons and Samu Omorogyan dominating the headlines, the story of Leslie Ugochukwu has remained tucked beneath the surface. No explosive rumors, no front-page speculation, no agents feeding updates to Fabrizio Romano. But make no mistake, talks are happening. As reported by Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph on the London is Blue podcast, Chelsea are quietly confident that Ugochukwu will be sold before the window shuts. "I don't have a club for you," Law admitted candidly. "But I'm told there's an expectation that he will leave permanently. They expect to sell him rather than loan him at this stage." Those words are significant. At a time when most young players are offered loan moves to boost their development and value, Chelsea have apparently already made their decision. Ugochukwu, at just 20 years old, will be sold outright. Why sell so soon? So why are Chelsea moving on from a player they spent €27.5 million on just a year ago? The answer lies in the structure and chaos of their midfield. Leslie's arrival was already overshadowed by the signings of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, both of whom were considered higher priority investments in the defensive midfield role. Add Enzo Fernandez to the mix, plus the emergence of Andre Santos and the purchase of Dewsbury-Hall, and suddenly Ugochukwu finds himself 8th in line for 2 or 3 midfield spots. Then there's the injury curse. Ugochukwu's Chelsea debut season was plagued by muscle injuries and inconsistent game time. His loan to Southampton was intended to bring regular minutes, but even there he failed to cement a starting spot. It's not that he was bad, on the contrary, he showed glimpses of athleticism, composure, and defensive reading. But Chelsea are no longer in a position to wait on development. Financial fair play, FFP, pressures are mounting, and Todd Boehly's strategy of flipping young players to create profit margins is now in full effect. In that light, Leslie becomes one of the easier exits to execute: young, Premier League experience, resale value, and no emotional strings attached. Who could sign him? Though no names have surfaced publicly, the Premier League is likely the destination. A host of mid-table clubs, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, Everton, Wolves, are all in need of dynamic midfield depth. Even newly promoted sides like Ipswich Town or Leicester could take a look. Leslie Ugochukwu fits the mold: 6 feet 2 inches, physical, capable on the ball, with experience in both League One and the Premier League. Despite his limited appearances, he has qualities that can't be taught: positional awareness, a natural engine, and calm under pressure. Chelsea are believed to be willing to negotiate creatively. While they want to recoup close to their €27.5 million investment, sources suggest they may accept a lower upfront fee combined with performance bonuses, add-ons, and a sell-on clause to protect future upside. Back in June, whispers emerged that La Liga side Valencia and 2. Bundesliga team Hamburg had shown interest. But financial constraints likely rule them out unless a loan with obligation to buy is agreed. The Bundesliga and League One could also be dark horse destinations, but it's the English market that offers Chelsea the best chance of extracting value. A familiar Chelsea story. Ugochukwu's story is not an outlier, it's the latest in a long line of quick flips and shifting valuations at Cobham. Cesare Casadei, Andre Santos, and even Carney Chukwuemeka have felt the instability of Chelsea's new regime. In the past, Leslie might have been allowed 2 or 3 seasons to develop. Under Boehly's project, however, every player is an asset, and every asset has a shelf life if they don't explode into the first team immediately. The final stretch. As the final weeks of the summer window approach, expect Ugochukwu's name to appear more frequently. Clubs are finalizing their squads, and Chelsea are actively marketing him behind the scenes. Don't be surprised if he's the next departure after the likes of Lewis Hall, Angelo Gabriel, and Omari Hutchinson, all part of a grander puzzle that's becoming increasingly focused on short-term turnover. Leslie Ugochukwu's Chelsea chapter looks like it's closing, not with controversy, not with